What's happening, people? You're listening to The Introverted Nerd Watches. I am your host, Reese, and I'm back for more Throwback Saved by the Bell. And this week I watched Season 4, Episode 16, All in the Mall. I had really fond memories of this episode. After watching it again, I don't know why I had really fond memories of it, but whatever, we'll get into that later. But right now, you should subscribe to the podcast. Pause right now, right this second, or listen to me for a few more seconds and then pause when I tell you to. Subscribe to the podcast. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and wherever you get your podcast. So go to those places, search for The Introverted Nerd Watches, subscribe, leave me a 5-star review, and what else? I think that's it. Oh, you can follow me on the socials. That's always good. Follow the podcast at NerdTrovertPod, NERD Trovert Pod. I'm too lazy to spell the whole thing. But look in the show notes. I always have this stuff in the show notes. So Nerdtrovert Pod, where I live tweet everything. I just live tweeted The Gifted. That show is so damn good, you guys. Everybody should be watching because I'm also podcasting about The Gifted this season 2. Use hashtag NerdyWatch if you want to live tweet with me and talk to me while I'm live tweeting all of these shows. On Instagram, I'm at TheIntrovertedNerd, and like the Facebook page at facebook.com/TheIntrovertedNerd. So let's all go to the mall, or let's all get into the mall. Whatever. It's all in the mall, you guys. So like I said, I had really fond memories of this episode. I don't know what I thought happened, but I remember Lisa being a big part of it, and that was kind of my thing. Is Lisa a big part of it? Lisa has her own. She's a bigger part than she usually is, I guess. There's no Jessie in this episode, so she's not sucking up all the space with her, I was about to say with her feminism. I'm also a feminist, but Jessie is kind of annoying with her white feminism, I'll say. Sorry, white feminist, but you know how you are. And you know how Jessie is if you've been watching the show along with me for the last 4 seasons. So, whatever. And Lisa were probably my favorite, like, late 80s, early 90s outfit that everybody on TV used to wear. So my girl's wearing a pair of biker shorts with a blazer. It is a terrible outfit. Like, it's black and green. I used to so badly want biker shorts. I had biker shorts, but I wanted the kind that had the lace. I'm such a loser. I wanted the kind that had the lace around, like, the bottom of them. It's so bad. They're so ugly too. So they're biker shorts, but they have lace around the bottom, and they also had the longer leggings that had the same thing. That's not what Lisa was wearing in this episode, but biker shorts and a blazer. Like, I really don't understand the blazer thing. Like, I never wore a blazer as a teenager. But you can't judge anything by me though, because I was, like, always trying to have a t-shirt and some jeans on. Like, the most comfortable thing I could find was the best for me, because I was that's the kind of teenager I was. Lisa is a little more dressy than me, but I don't remember any kids in my school coming, and this wasn't even dressy. Like I said, she was wearing biker shorts and a blazer. So this is not dressy outfit, Lisa. Whatever. I'm getting hung up on the wrong things. Just go look at Lisa's outfit. And I liked her hair in this episode too. Very, I don't know. Lisa has that good hair, I think. Or Lark Voorhees has that kind of good hair. I mean, if you're black, you know what I'm talking about. The good hair thing. I'm not really going to get into that right now because it's not that important. I like Lisa's hair. I liked her whole neon green and black color scheme going on in this episode. So thumbs up for Lisa in this episode. So the gang is at the mall. Everybody except for Jesse, like I said. And there's a U2 concert coming. Okay, this is the first thing that kind of shocked me because they usually make up bands like what was it, that episode where they wanted to do the subliminal messages that Zack did? Who was the guy? Bo Revere. That's what it is. So they made up a whole artist, Bo Revere, who, you know, was like this top artist everybody loved. He was Kelly's favorite. So they do things like that, like make up Bo Revere, and then you come to this episode and they have U2. But they also mention Elvis. Like there's a whole Elvis thing going through this series. So I never know when they're going to make up a person or, you know, make up something, and when they're going to just go with like the real deal thing. Like you could mention like a band or something like that, right? You don't need like permission the way that you would need permission to mention like you couldn't mention like Frosted Flakes or something like that in a show, but you could mention a person or a band like U2, like they did in this episode. So why the Bo Revere of it all? I don't know. I don't get it. I never know why Saved by the Bell does the things that they do. I think it's probably better that way. It's probably better that they just have no rhyme or reason for the things that they do, and it makes it more interesting as an adult looking back at like what, really? Bo Revere? But we're going to mention U2. Oh, whatever. So the scheme before, like Zack had a ton of schemes in this episode. So his first one is that they all were too lazy to wait in line themselves for U2 concert tickets. So what they decided to do was bribe Screech with a new teddy bear. I cannot roll my eyes hard enough at that. To sleep in line and wait to so he'd be the first in line to buy the 5 of them tickets. It's like, why do they still trust Screech to do anything? They know him. It's like, okay, 2 questions. Why does the gang still trust Zack? Why are they still friends with him? Why aren't they in like therapy for having to deal with him? And why do they trust Screech with anything? And why does Zack trust Screech? That was more than 2 questions, but it's all basically the same thing. Why does Zack trust Screech? Because he knows what a like spaz Screech is. So there's no excuse. Like Zack is supposed to be a little bit smarter than this. He is a little bit smarter than this. You know how much I'm always ready to shit on Zack. I'm always ready to do that. But he is a little bit smarter than to constantly trust Screech to do things that he knows that Screech cannot do. It's just so... It's ridiculous. It's stupid. And in the next episode, they're going to try to make us think Zack is smart, because the next episode is the SAT episode where everybody thinks Jack, I was about to call him Jack. Zack is a goddamn genius because of his 1502. I'm not going to do it. I was about to get into the 1502 of it all, but I'm not going to do it. Wait until next week. SATs next week. But so we know that Screech is the dumbest smart person ever. He's just so ridiculous. So he's in line. He wakes up in line. He wakes up at the front of the line. As soon as the Ticketmaster opens, he Screech goes to ask for 5 tickets to U2, as close as you can get. And everybody else has already left. They all go off to do their own thing. And so the Ticketmaster guy is like, so do you want to be in the mezzanine? Or he asked about 2 areas, like which area would you like the 5 tickets in? And Screech is so stupid. Screech, who built a fucking robot named Brian, who hasn't shown up again, but whatever. Screech, who built a robot, is so stupid, or just so he cannot make a decision. So my dude turns to the person behind him and says, hey, can you hold my spot in line while I go ask my friends which area they want to be in. So he runs up to Zack, and he runs over to Zack and Slater to ask them this question. And while they're waiting for Screech to buy the tickets, Zack and Slater are just walking through the mall, because why is the Ticketmaster in the mall? That's another thing. Like, isn't the Ticketmaster usually outside of the stadium or closer to where the venue is? Like, is U2 going to be playing like a mall show? Is that what they're trying to say? Who knows? I don't know. They never explain it. It doesn't really matter, but it's the first time I ever thought about it. Like, you wouldn't go to the mall to buy U2 tickets. They had a whole, like, it was like a movie theater ticket, whatever. Anyway, Zack and Slater walking through the mall, window shopping, I guess. And so these two stop at a bridal store and they're looking at the mannequins, and Zack says to Slater, why can't we meet babes that look like this? And I'm like, that look like what? I'm looking and I'm like, what is he talking about? Because I don't know why I couldn't see or something. I mean, I have a big enough TV, but I could not remember, like, from watching the show before when I was a kid, what he was talking about. And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, is he talking about a fucking mannequin? Because I thought there was a woman in the window. That's what I thought I remember from a kid. I thought I remembered a woman being in the window, like setting up the display. But no, these two assholes are actually talking about a fucking mannequin. So it's a whole bridal display, bridegroom, groomsmen, bridesmaid, all that. So Zack is like, why can't we find girls like this? And Slater, who they don't know whether he's going to be like a jaded 50-year-old man or this 16-year-old high school boy. In this episode, he's the jaded old man, because he says, he looks at the mannequin and he says, she has a cute figure. She doesn't talk back. And he and Zack sort of like, they high five this, and it's like, we're talking about a mannequin. It's not like, who's attracted to mannequins? I understand they're supposed to be horny teenage boys, but really, mannequins? And don't come at me, because I know somebody out there probably has a mannequin fetish. I'm not kink shaming you. I mean, whatever. Fuck all the mannequins you want. These mannequins, not attractive. They look fake. They look like giant Barbies, or not even Barbies. And okay. And it's not even like the mannequins were wearing like a sexy outfit. Like, if they were in front of Victoria's Secret and they started talking about the mannequins, I would still think that they were like kind of icky, but I would be like, okay, they're looking at sexy mannequins in, underwear. She was in a fucking wedding dress. That's the least sexy you could ever be. I'm sorry. Like, beautiful you could be in your wedding dress. Nobody's looking at a woman in her wedding dress like, damn, that bitch is sexy. Like, I've never done it. I don't know. Maybe somebody else has. Maybe somebody has worn like a super sexy wedding dress. But this mannequin, I'm calling her a woman. See, this mannequin was not wearing a sexy tight wedding dress. She was wearing like a fucking ball gown, practically like one of those like almost Princess Diana like wedding dresses. So there was no way that they were looking at that thinking, wow, this is this thing is so sexy. And then in order to prove that this whole mannequin thing was like they were trying to make it a thing. Because Screech walks up to them and he walks up behind them and he's like, "Oh, hey, look at the babe." And I'm like, "Okay, so are we supposed to believe that they think that these mannequins look real?" We're supposed to believe that the mannequins look real because Screech walks up and says, "Who's the babe?" And I'm like, "What are they talking about? Like, they don't look real. They look like plastic." They okay. So he's calling mannequins babes, and Screech and not Screech, Slater and Zack are like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing out here?" And this is when Screech asked them, like, what, I didn't know which area you wanted to be in. And they're like, "Hey, dumbass, you really got out of line to come and ask us this? You could have bought anything." So they're pissed. The girls are out buying shoes. Lisa meets a dude in a shoe store, which I have all kinds of problems with because, okay, we don't see this guy until like really later in the episode, but Lisa and Kelly go to buy shoes. They were going to try on shoes and buy shoes and all that. Well, we all know that Kelly doesn't have any money. So I don't know why. Is Lisa a good friend for asking Kelly to go like shoe shopping with her? Because Kelly at one point later in the episode tells them that, "Hey, I can't really do anything because I gave you all of my money to buy my ticket." So it's like, okay, Kelly maxed herself out. We know she has like 20 brothers and sisters. She's been working, like Kelly got problems. And so this is like a real, going to the U2 concert, real treat for her. Lisa has her own credit card. Girl got, both her parents are doctors, got ton of money. So she takes Kelly to the shoe store with her, but Kelly can't buy anything. So she's just sitting there watching Lisa try on shoes. And then Lisa starts flirting with the shoe salesman guy. So it's like, come on, Lisa. Like, do your girl a favor. Don't be that person, but whatever. So anyway, the shoe salesman guy, I thought at first was going to be like a teenager, but no. Dude is a whole grown ass man. They got a problem on this show with inviting like older like men to hit on these young girls. They did it with Jeff. They're going to do it again with Kelly. Did they do it already, or are they going to whatever? Something happens where another like grown man, clearly adult man, hits on Kelly. And then they got this guy with Lisa. I mean, this is only a one episode, like he's barely in this kind of thing, but it's like they are children. They are 16 years old. This grown man should not be hitting on Lisa. And they also do it again with Lisa earlier on when she starts flirting with the drill sergeant guy. So they do this a lot where they have these girls like flirting and having, like, it's one thing to have, one of these, girls or even the guys have a crush on an adult. It's another thing when the adults start reciprocating. It's highly uncomfortable and it's so wrong. And I don't know why they did this, but whatever. So Lisa's flirting with the guy, with the shoe salesman guy. And I also question, like, he doesn't know how old she is. Come on. Okay. I'm getting hung up on the wrong things. Let's continue on with the episode. So, they go back after Lisa buys all the shoes and Kelly, sits in a corner watching her, wishing that she could do it too. Um, they go back to the guys in the mall, and the Zack and Slater are like, they don't want to tell Kelly the truth because Kelly walks up by herself at first because Lisa's still back flirting with the old man. Um, and so Kelly asks, like, where's Screech? He should already have the tickets by now. And Zack and Slater have to tell her, like, Screech is a dumbass. We all knew he was a dumbass, but we're still going to be upset with him for being the dumbass that we knew he was. And he didn't buy the tickets because he stepped out of line. And Kelly's upset. She's like, oh shit, that was all my money. But now she's maybe kind of happy because she still has her money and she can go do something. She can save that money for, I don't know, when her next prom comes up, her next school dance, she'll have a dress next time. So Lisa comes along after buying some really ugly shoes, and she sits down, and it's a whole thing. Like, I don't know why they wanted Lisa to find the money that they're about to find, but they really wanted Lisa to find it. So Kelly is sitting on a bench by herself. Zack and Slater are sitting on a bench together. And so when Lisa walks up, she walks up and she's like talking to them standing there, and then she wants to sit down. So she pushes Slater, and she like pushes Slater, like telling them, Zack and Slater, to move over. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, why wouldn't you just go sit next to your best friend instead of like doing this whole thing where she pushes them over? And it's like, and why didn't they say this is not a big deal? I just don't understand the logistics of it. Why did Lisa have to be the one to find the money? Because that's what happens. Lisa sits down and she puts her bag down, and then when she looks down again, she asks Zack and Slater, like, yo, hey dude, did one of you leave your bag over here? And when she picks it up, there's $5,000 in it. And we know it's $5,000 because Lisa like fans out the money. She like smells it, and then she like fans it out by her ear, and she like guesses $5,000. So this is like a Lisa treat. Like, she did this at her birthday party where she was shaking the boxes, and she knew exactly what was inside based on, how it sounded while she shook it. I love Lisa, but they really are making her like this spoiled rich girl who, whatever. I still love you, Lisa. You're the best. Don't let anybody tell you differently. So they find the money. Goody Two Shoes Kelly wants to give it back. She wants to go find a cop and, give the money back because it might belong to somebody. She says it might belong to somebody poor. And Slater is like, nah, girl, a poor person wouldn't have had $5,000. And I'm like, oh, come on, you guys. You're all rich. Kelly is the only one that's having like money troubles. Everybody else we know on this show not having any money troubles. Everybody's just fine. And I never understand why these kids are always so desperate for money. I get it. On one hand, I get it. You're a teenager. You don't have a lot of like cash on you. But like I said, Lisa has her own credit cards. Her parents will give her money if she wants. I'm sure Zack and Slater, they probably have like similar situations going on. So, but they're always so desperate for money, and they're always so desperate to make money. And you would think that I would be like all for that. Like, these kids want to earn their own money, but Zack is not the kind of kid that wants to like, he's like the Donald Trump of it all. He's the kind of that's going to go to his dad for $1 million loan and then act like he's he's self-made. So this is exactly what Zack wants to do. So at first, Lisa picks up the money. She's like, okay, so this is all my money. And they start arguing with her. And I'm like, well, Yeah, she found it. Like finders keepers. That's the rule, right? Like even up until like yeah, finders keepers. That's the rule. Um so they get into a whole argument about it. And then they decide to split the money. But Zack convinces them that instead of splitting the money between ourselves, like we could all have $1,000 and do whatever the fuck we want. But instead of doing that, let me be greedy. And the idea is to go and buy U2 tickets and then buy as many U2 tickets as they can get for the $5,000 and then sell them for a profit. And then in order to like appease Kelly, who, you know, has the good heart, wants to give the money back, as soon as they make all their money back and the profit from selling the tickets, they'll give the $5,000 back. Whew. This is all very convoluted. I wouldn't even go through all of this trouble. I would have taken my $1,000. I would have been thrown up the deuces, be like, yo, I got $1,000 here. I'm cool with that. Y'all go do whatever you want with the rest of your money. Like you go buy all the U2 tickets that you want and, you know, whatever. So while that's all happening, there's these two guys that show up who are like kind of Lenny and Squiggy like ripoffs. I don't know where these guys come from, but they're ridiculous. They barely talk, which is a good thing. So they show up, they see them taking the money, and you know, of course, the gang wants to keep the money, so they have to like get away real quick. They don't want to be like too obvious that they have the money. And so they go to Screech to tell him the plan. And there's still like a really long line for tickets. So what they have to do is get Screech to the front of the line like quickly. So this is when they prove that they hate fat people, because we get a whole montage of them trying to move people out of the line so that Screech can move forward. And the first person they try to move is a quote unquote fat kid. It's like, this guy is not really fat. He is, I mean, I guess you would call him husky, but he looks like a regular guy. I mean, he's no Slater. He doesn't have a six pack, but he's not like this obese person that you would, he's not the kind of person that you would look at and be like, okay, in order to bribe this guy, I got to get some food because this guy looks like he cannot resist. He doesn't look like that guy. Not that anybody would be like that hungry or greedy. Like just because you're fat doesn't mean that you're constantly, I say this all the time. I think I said this last week with Fat Wendy. Just because you're fat doesn't mean that you're constantly, you know, you can be manipulated by food and that you just always got food on the brain. But Saved by the Bell hates fat people. And what they do to get the fat guy, I'm putting up like finger quotes when I do that, but you can't see me. But in order to get this fat guy out of line, Zack and Slater walk up to him with 2 ice cream cones, and they put the ice cream cones in his face and they like lure him away. And I'm like, really? He's like transfixed by the ice cream cones? Whatever, you guys. Fuck you, Saved by the Bell. Like, really, fuck you. So they do this. They have the whole montage. You know, Zack and Slater get these 2 nerdy girls out of line by just being Zack and Slater. Lisa and Kelly do the same thing with some stupid guys at the front of the line. Like, I get it. Like, I love me some Lisa Turtle, and Kelly's cute too. But ain't no way I am stepping out of line that I probably stood in for like an hour just because 2 cute girls come by and they drop their stuff. Like, fuck that. I would Like, I would have looked at them like, really, girl? Mm-mm. No, no, no. I am not stepping out of line for that. Fuck that. Anyway, so they get up to the front of the line, and the person that's in the front of the line is an old black grandma. Why is she here? Like, this old woman, why is this old black woman in this show? Whatever. She's in the front of the line. Zack taps her on the shoulder and is like, "Hey girl, my friend, he's been dying for you too. Please, he's been waiting for this for a year, blah blah blah." And the old woman is like, "No, sorry. Sorry kids. I am not getting out of line. I never miss a U2 concert." This is not even this is not really funny. To have this old black woman here, it could have been like anybody, because who was stepping out of line at the front of the line? Whatever. So in order to get her out of line, they start trying to bribe her. So Zack offers her $50 and she basically rolls her eyes at that. And then Slater comes over and Slater's kind of trying to flirt with her, I guess. And he starts calling her beautiful, like, "Hey, beautiful. Did my friend say $50? He meant $100. And this lady was smart because she's like, "Okay, I see you're all children and I don't know where you get all this money from, but I don't care. Give me $200 and I'll get out of line." And so they end up giving her $200, and it was all for nothing because she walks away, and then the guy at the ticket window immediately puts up the sold out sign. So they gave away $200 for nothing. They got no tickets. They got nothing. They got nothing but this not $5,000, $4,800 now. And so they're sitting around trying to figure out what they're going to do. No U2 tickets. They gave away $200 for nothing. And then just out of nowhere, the miracle of the mall, they announce over the mall sound, the mall PA, that there's going to be a second concert. So, tickets will go on sale the next day. And so Zack will not give up on this plan to try to profit off of, to try to double their money, I guess. I don't even know what the plan is. What is he really, what really is the plan? How much money does he think they're going to make? Because, okay, so we find out later when they try to buy when they finally try to buy the tickets, they can all buy 10 tickets a piece. And that ends up being $3,000. So how much more are they going to sell those tickets for in order to make a profit that is good enough so that they can replace that $3,000. They can, replenish the original $5,000 in order to give that to the police and make a big profit for themselves. So it's I don't know, maybe they'll make $5,000 off of these tickets. And it's well, you had $5,000 already and you just made a lot of work for yourself. I don't know. Who knows? Whatever. They're young. They have the energy. It doesn't matter. So they decide that they have to stay overnight at the mall in order to be the first people in line so they can get the tickets. And another thing they do, since they have everything all worked out, they decide, okay, we can spend a little bit of this money. Slater says, let's dip into our profits up front so, we can have something to do today. So Zack gives everybody $200. And it's really? Really, you guys, you're going to spend this money? Whatever. You're spending your profits already, so you're already in the hole. Anyway, Lenny and Squiggy are still following them all around the mall, and Zack and them are noticing it. So, and it's so crazy because Zack is in the middle of the food court with a wad of money in his hand, everybody should be looking at them, like looking at these teenagers who have all this fucking money, he's like handing out money to his friends like in front of everybody. So they're not even trying to be like kind of discreet about, this money that they found. They're so tiring, these kids. So, they go buy stuff. They all end up at the movies, and they're like, everybody except Zack and Slater see that they're being followed by Lenny and Squiggy. And Zack and Slater are like, no, they're just in the mall. They're just patrons at the mall like everybody else. Like, stop being so paranoid. But Lenny and Squiggy are ending up everywhere they go. And they end up at the shoe store because Lisa and Kelly keep going back to the shoe store. So while Lisa's at the shoe store trying on more shoes, like with this old guy being creepy, taking pictures. She mentions at one point that he took pictures of her feet. Like, this is so disgusting. Kelly walks up to her and is like, Lisa, we got to get out of here. We have to meet up with the rest of the group. And then she sees Lenny and Squiggy. They're like in the store, like being creepers. They're obviously old men. And these girls would obviously be a little like scared that these old men are following them, but they still do it. And so Kelly is like, Lisa, put the money in your shoebox because nothing can go wrong if you do that. Put the money in your shoebox and hide the money so that we'll have it all together tomorrow. Like, don't keep it on your body. Like, nobody here keep it on your body or keep it like really close to you. Put it in a shoebox. In a bag that you're going to sit down everywhere so that, there's a possibility somebody could steal it. They're so stupid. They're so stupid. So Lisa and Kelly run out of the shoe store. They end up going to the movies with the rest of them. Zack and Slater are talking all throughout a movie. And it's so, like, they're really loud. They're acting out scenes from the movie or they're making up scenes from the movie. And they're so loud. Nobody in the movie except Lisa and Kelly is annoyed that these two guys are talking over the movie. It's just so ridiculous. But Lenny and Squiggy show up there too. And the plan is to be discreet, act like you're going to the bathroom and walk out so that they don't suspect that you're leaving. And these guys' way of being discreet is to get up in the middle of the movie theater, a dark movie theater where the movie is playing, and whistle their way out of the door. I mean, come on. And all 5 of them do this. They whistle their way out the door. It's so ridiculous. So they end up spending a night in like a sporting goods store in a tent, and they get up to the front of the line in the morning, and they try to buy the tickets, and surprise, the money is missing because Lisa got the boxes mixed up because of course that is what is going to happen. And so they go to a shoe store and basically tear the shoe store apart, and nobody stops them from doing this. I guess, the shoe salesman guy I believe his name was Todd, was so hung up on Lisa's feet that, he just allowed these kids to tear up the shoe store looking for a shoebox full of money. And so the old black grandma shows up again, and she tries to take the box with the money. Zack tries to, snatch it away from her. And Zack was about 5 seconds away from throwing hands with this old woman because he was not going to allow this woman to take this box full of money. He was not having it. So in order to get her to distract her, Lisa says, "Oh, look, Kevin Costner." And I was like, no. This is how I know that there are no black writers, that Lisa Turtle is the only black person that has ever seen the set of Saved by the Bell, because no way was this old grandma distracted by the thought that Kevin Costner might be in the mall. I'm like, no. If you said, "Look, grandma, there goes Denzel, then I would be like, yep, totally believe it. She would run away if she thought that Denzel was there, not Kevin Costner. And I don't think The Bodyguard was out yet, so she was definitely not. Yeah, no, we're in Dances with Wolves stage Kevin Costner. No way this old grandma was this old black woman was running away to see Kevin Costner. Nope, never happened. So Lenny and Squiggy show up again, and that's when they start to confront the kids about the money. And they, run out. They run up to the mall cop and they try to confess to him that the guys are, that Lenny and Squiggy are following them around. And he said, Kelly is like, can you help us? And, they're all crying and frantic. And the officer is like, why would I help you when I'm with them? And then, they're all scared. We have a whole scene where the whole gang pretend to be the mannequins from the bridal store. So that was the whole thing. We had to bring the mannequin thing back because that was so funny. I don't know. So turns out it's all been a hoax. Lenny and Squiggy they're from Candid Video. Come on, you guys. Candid Video. Okay, the original show, which, I've never seen, but I do remember, is Candid Camera. You couldn't get more creative. You call it Candid Video? Come on now. Like, really? You didn't even try with that name. Like, Candid Video? Come on. So, the camera people all come out. They're all surprised. Ha, ha, ha. Lenny and Squiggy, they have, however much money is left over, Zack gives them. And the prize for being on Candid Video is 5 tickets to U2. And it's like, come on, no. Like, if you're a teenager, maybe you'll buy into that shit. But me as an adult, I'm like, 5 tickets to U2, where the money at? Like, throw me some cash. I'll take these U2 tickets, but I want some money to be on your TV show. Like, I'm not doing this I'm not working for U2 tickets. You get a whole ass episode from us being stupid, doing ridiculous things in this mall. You are not like, the payment for that is not U2 tickets. And they already spent some of the money. So this is so ridiculous. Candid Video, U2 tickets as your prize. It's so stupid. I love this show. Oh, Candid Video. I cannot stop laughing at, though. It's like, the show is called Candid Camera. You didn't have one writer who could think of something better than Candid Video. Like, really? Really, dude? You couldn't think of anything better than Candid Video. Oh, like, Candid Video is just lazy. You like, just anything. I can't think of anything right now, but come on. You're writers. You write this show. You should be whatever. They got their U2 tickets and everything works out for them as usual. And next week is the SAT, so I love that episode. I cannot wait until that episode. So that is the end of the episode, you guys. And I got some things coming up. So this episode you'll be hearing on Throwback Thursday. And then on Friday, I'm going to have my first review for episode 1 of The Gifted, because I'm reviewing the season of The Gifted this year. So yay, I'm so excited. I freaking love that show. That show is so good. I can't wait to talk about it. So make sure you subscribe. You'll get that first episode of The Gifted on Friday. And the season finale of Fear the Walking Dead is coming up. So that episode will be out next Tuesday. And you already know, if you've been listening, that I have not enjoyed that show. I am not going to be podcasting about it anymore. I am done with that show after this season. So I have to find something else to fill its place. Oh no, maybe I don't, because Black Lightning is coming back. So Black Lightning is going to take the place of Fear the Walking Dead, and we'll figure out the schedule as we go along. But definitely listen out for the season finale of Fear the Walking Dead and the season premiere, my season premiere episode for The Gifted. And if you want to send me feedback for any of these shows, send it to TheIntrovertedNerd@gmail.com. I will read it on the podcast, and I will respond to you if you have something to, if you want to challenge my views about any of these shows. I am always going to defend my opinions on them, because I'm combative for no reason. Whatever. Anyway, you guys, that is all. I will talk to you next week. Later.